There are moments in your life that do not look dramatic from the outside, but inside you, something shifts. It may happen in the middle of an ordinary day. You're washing your hands, or sitting in silence, or staring out a window, and suddenly a quiet question rises. Who am I beneath all of this? Not your job, not your name, not your roles, not your history, not your habits, not the story others tell about you. You, the silent awareness behind your thoughts, the presence behind your eyes, the witness of your own life. Plato said, the soul is ancient, the body is temporary, the personality is shaped by circumstance, but the soul is older than memory. Before you learned your language, before you learned your culture, before life taught you fear, comparison, ego, and survival, you were something pure, something whole, something open, something unbroken. The journey of life is not about becoming something new. It is about remembering who you already are. Didn't the soul before the world Plato believed the soul existed long before the body was born? Your soul did not begin with your first breath. It did not begin with your childhood. It did not begin with your name. Your soul began long before all of that. He said the soul came from a realm of clarity, a realm of peace, a realm of truth. The soul knew what love feels like without fear, what belonging feels like without conditions, what freedom feels like without consequences, what purpose feels like without pressure. The soul was not confused. The soul was not insecure. The soul was not searching. The soul was already complete. Then life happened. You were born into this world, into noise, into expectations, into roles, into history you did not choose. And slowly, the soul began to forget. That forgetting is what causes the sadness we cannot explain, the restlessness we cannot name, the longing we cannot describe. We are not searching for something new. We are searching for something we lost sight of. We are searching for ourselves. The noise that covers the soul, Plato said, the world teaches us to look outward, to measure our worth by achievement, approval, appearance, success, belonging, attention, validation. But the soul does not speak the language of the world. The soul speaks in stillness, intuition, gentle insight, quiet knowing, deep peace. And when the world becomes loud, the soul becomes quiet. The noise says, you are not enough unless you become more. But the soul whispers, you were whole before you began. The noise says, compete, impress, prove yourself. The soul whispers, just be. The noise says, your value is earned. The soul whispers, your value is inherent. The noise is learned. The soul is remembered. Why we feel lost. When you feel lost, it is not because you lack direction. It is because you have become distant from your inner center. When you feel anxious, it is not because life is too heavy. It is because the soul is suffocating under the weight of expectations that do not belong to it. When you feel tired in a way that sleep does not fix, it is because you are carrying emotions that were never meant to be carried alone. Plato would say, you are not lost. You are simply far from yourself, and the journey is not outward. It is not changing your environment. It is not finding a new identity to wear. The journey is inward, a return, a remembering. Now, the first step back to the soul, Plato taught that the first step in remembering the soul is awareness, not force, not effort, not discipline. Awareness, the gentle noticing of what is happening inside you. The soul does not reveal itself to a mind rushing to the next moment. The soul reveals itself to a mind willing to sit still. So pause, not to escape the world, but to see yourself clearly. Close your eyes, not to shut the world out, but to turn toward the world inside you. There is a quiet voice there, beneath the thinking, a voice that has no urgency, no fear, no doubt. It is the voice that has been waiting for you to listen. On the layers that are not you, in order to remember who you are, you must first recognize who you are not. You are not the expectations others placed upon you. You are not the fear you inherited from your past. You are not the beliefs you absorbed without question. You are not the voice in your mind that tells you to prove your worth. Those are layers, layers covering the soul, layers that life taught you, layers that once protected you but now confine you. The soul is not found in adding more. The soul is found in letting go. Let go of the need to be understood, the need to be admired, the fear of disappointing others, the pressure to be strong all the time. Let go of the image. Let go of the armor. Let go of the performance. Your soul is waiting beneath. And the soul speaks in silence. Plato believed that silence is not empty. Silence is where the soul remembers itself. Sit in silence long enough and you will notice your thoughts begin to slow. Your breathing begins to soften. The body begins to settle. And then something shifts. A gentleness rises, a clarity emerges, a quiet presence expands inside your chest. That presence is you, not the you the world sees, not the you shaped by experience, not the you shaped by wounds. The original you, the eternal you, the remembering you. Silence is not an escape from life. Silence is a return to life. Why the soul is never truly lost. The soul cannot be destroyed. The soul cannot be broken. The soul cannot fail. No matter what has happened, no matter what you regret, no matter what you fear, no matter what you have lost, no matter who has hurt you, no matter how long you have been away from yourself, the soul remains whole. It waits, patiently, softly, without judgment. Your healing does not require you to become more. Your healing requires you to remember. Remember who you were before the noise, before the fear, before the doubt, before the world taught you to hide. You are returning to that person now, not instantly, not in a rush, not with force, but gently, with awareness, with breath, with compassion. The soul opens slowly, like dawn. At the awakening of the inner self, there comes a moment, quiet, subtle, almost ordinary, When the soul begins to wake, it does not happen like lightning. It does not happen with drama. It does not happen with sudden clarity. It begins as a soft discomfort, a sense that the life you are living is too small for the truth of who you are, a sense that something inside you is stretching, a sense that something is calling you, but you cannot yet hear the words. This is the soul knocking from beneath the layers, not asking to return, but asking to be remembered. The soul remembers. Through feeling, Plato believed the soul speaks to us not through thought, but through felt truth. That feeling you can't explain, the one that rises for no reason, the one that appears in the quiet moments when no one is watching, that is the soul, trying to reach you, not through logic, not through language, through the heaviness in your chest when something isn't right, the sudden calm when you are in the presence of truth, the ache when you betray yourself, the warmth when something is aligned with who you really are, the longing for a life that feels real. The soul does not speak in sentences. The soul speaks in resonance. If it feels like home, the soul recognizes it. If it feels like contraction, the soul is warning you. You have always known. You simply forgot to listen. The mind is a mirror. Plato taught that the mind is not the soul, but it can either reflect the soul or distort it. When the mind is full of noise, comparison, worry, self-judgment, fear, impatience, insecurity, the soul becomes blurred like a reflection in disturbed water. But when the mind becomes still, even for a moment, the soul becomes visible again. This is why peace does not come from controlling life. Peace comes from quieting the mind long enough to see what has always been there. The soul is like the moon. Even when clouds cover it, it is still shining. The mind is the clouds. The soul is the light. Your work is not to make the soul brighter. Your work is to soften the clouds. Why we forget who we are. We forget because the world teaches us to be everything but ourselves. We are taught to be productive instead of present, be impressive instead of sincere, be strong instead of authentic, be liked instead of honest. We are taught to perform, to play roles, to fit into a shape that was handed to us. And somewhere along that performance, we lose the thread of the soul. We forget what we truly love, what we truly value, what brings us alive, what feels meaningful, what feels sacred, what feels like ours. The forgetting is not failure. It is part of the journey. The soul allows itself to forget so that the remembering can transform you. The return begins with honesty. Plato said the soul begins to return to itself the moment we are willing to ask, what is true for me? Not what is expected, not what is easy, not what is popular, not what looks admirable, but what feels true. Sometimes the truth is inconvenient. Sometimes the truth asks us to change. Sometimes the truth asks us to let go. Sometimes the truth asks us to leave. Sometimes the truth asks us to stay. Sometimes the truth asks us to allow ourselves to feel. The truth is rarely comfortable, but the truth is always freeing, because the truth is the language of the soul. When you speak truth, you return to yourself. No matter how small the truth may seem, even, I am tired, I am hurting, I miss myself, I want more than this. These are doorways. Every truth spoken softly is the soul stepping forward. The soul grows through gentle awareness. You do not need to force healing. You do not need to rush transformation. You do not need to demand awakening. You need only to become aware. Awareness is the light that reveals the soul. Notice your reactions. Notice your patterns. Notice what tightens your chest. Notice what softens your breathing. Notice what drains you. Notice what nourishes you. Awareness does not judge. Awareness observes. When you observe your experience, you are already stepping outside the story. And everything you can observe, you can eventually release. The soul is remembered not by changing yourself, but by witnessing yourself, gently, lovingly, patiently. Awakening is not an act of force. Awakening is an act of kindness. Yet your soul has never been broken, even in your hardest moments, the moments you regret, the moments you wish you could rewrite, the moments that changed you forever. Your soul did not shatter. Pain happened to your heart. Fear happened to your mind. Trauma happened to your nervous system. But your soul remained whole, untouched, unbroken, untorn. The soul does not store wounds. The soul stores wisdom. The soul watches you fall apart, not because it is distant, but because it knows. You will rebuild yourself with more truth each time. Every time your heart has cracked, the soul was making more room for light. You have not been falling apart. You have been opening. The call to return home. Plato said the greatest desire of the soul is to return to its original state, a state of inner peace, clarity, and wholeness. You feel this longing as much, the desire for simplicity, the desire for meaning, the desire for authenticity, the desire for love that feels real, the desire for silence, the desire for presence, the desire to exhale. This is the soul saying, I am still here. Come back to me. Not by going anywhere, not by becoming someone new, not by earning your worth, but by remembering you were whole before the world told you otherwise. The return to yourself. There comes a moment in every soul's journey where something begins to soften. It doesn't happen through force. It doesn't happen through sudden clarity. It happens slowly, like dawn. The darkness does not end all at once. It lightens, breath by breath. This is how the soul comes back, not in an explosion of enlightenment, but in a gentle remembering. Yet the soul does not want perfection. It wants presence. The world has taught you to strive to succeed, strive to be impressive, strive to be loved, strive to be enough. But the soul is not interested in striving. The soul wants presence, honesty, connection, awareness, stillness. The soul asks you, can you just be here as you are without needing to become anything? This question can feel unsettling because you have been trained to become, but peace begins the moment you stop trying to earn your existence. You do not need to prove that you deserve to be here. You are here. That is enough. Letting the false self fall away, Plato believed that much of what we call self is only a mask, a collection of defenses, reactions, coping mechanisms, inherited beliefs, survival patterns. These parts are not wrong. They once kept you safe. But the soul grows tired of living behind walls. There comes a time when you feel, I am done pretending. This is not collapse. This is emergence. The false self begins to crumble, not through destruction, but through truth. You tell yourself the truth about what you feel. You tell yourself the truth about what you want. You tell yourself the truth about what you can no longer carry. Every truth spoken to yourself removes one more layer between you and your soul. You are not losing yourself. You are finding yourself. Dead to the soul returns. When you stop chasing, the soul cannot be found through force. You cannot chase your way back to yourself. You cannot fix yourself into wholeness. You cannot think your way into inner peace. The soul returns when you stop trying to become something and allow yourself to simply be. Your worth is not earned through achievement, discipline, perfection, productivity, importance. Your worth is your birthright. The soul is remembered through surrender, not giving up, giving in to the truth that you already are what you've been seeking. The courage to be gentle. Most people believe strength is sharp, hard, unshakable. But Plato taught, strength is the ability to remain gentle in a world that tries to harden you. The gentle person is not weak. The gentle person has walked through storms and chose not to become the storm. To be gentle is to feel fully, to love deeply, to speak honestly, to care naturally, to forgive slowly and sincerely, to stay soft without collapsing. Gentleness is not softness of emotion. It is strength of spirit. The soul remembers itself through gentleness. Oh, the soul is found in what feels real. You will know something is right for your soul when it feels like calm, ease, warmth, steadiness, honesty, soft joy, deep breath, not excitement, not intensity, not the rush of validation. Those are the reactions of the mind and nervous system. The soul does not rush. The soul recognizes. If something brings you back into your breath, it is for you. If something makes you abandon yourself, it is not. This is how the soul navigates the world, not by logic, by resonance. The return is quiet. No one will announce your transformation. You will not wake up one day and feel perfect. You will not suddenly have all the answers. The return happens quietly. You stop arguing with yourself. You stop trying to prove your worth. You stop chasing what hurts you. You stop apologizing for needing peace. You start listening to your body. You start telling the truth about your feelings. You start choosing rest before collapse. You start honoring what feels sacred to you. Transformation does not look like becoming someone new. It looks like returning to the person you were before the world told you who to be. Got living from the soul. Plato believed that when a person remembers their soul, their life changes effortlessly. Not because circumstances change, but because perspective does. You begin to move differently. You speak with presence. You listen with depth. You love without fear. You choose without doubt. You walk without rushing. You breathe without hiding. Your life becomes no longer about winning, proving, chasing, surviving. It becomes about being, feeling, offering, experiencing, connecting. You live from a state of enoughness, not because life became perfect, but because you stopped abandoning yourself. With the soul cannot be lost, only forgotten. If you take nothing else from Plato's teaching, take this. You have never been disconnected from your soul. You have only been distracted from it, and distractions can be gently set down. You do not need to find yourself. You only need to return to the place within you that has been waiting quietly, patiently, faithfully. The door to your soul has never been locked. You simply stopped knocking. Now you are knocking again. Now the remembering has begun. Now the return is underway. And the soul is smiling because it always knew you would come home. Losing reflection. You are not who the world told you to be. You are not your roles. You are not your mistakes. You are not your fear. You are the quiet awareness beneath it all. You are the warmth in your own chest. You are the softness behind your eyes. You are the stillness that has survived every storm. You are the soul, and the soul is whole, wise, ancient, unbreakable, home. You are returning now, not to something new, but to who you have been all along. The remembering has begun.